Oh yeah, Black Sun in the Hizzle, all for shizzle dizzle. We got an excellent show here today, and we got Michelle Rollins join us again on Fitness Friday. What's going on, Michelle? What's going on?
Nothing. Everything's good. How about with you?
It's going pretty good. Going pretty good. Going pretty good. So last week, we talked about women and lifting weights,
Uh
and
huh.
what I didn't really emphasize on is actually the when you lift weights, when you tone, it actually lifts because your muscles are. Would you agree to that?
Yes,
That
it
it
does.
enhances? Okay, okay. Because again, like I said, women, and you've said this before, that they have this. Hey, what's up, Zanzi? Uh, hit the share and like, y'all. I guess I need to type that in on the way in. You talked about how there was a conception of how if you lift weights, you know you'll get these big giant muscles and look like a man, I guess, look like the Incredible Hulk. So um what has that done for you, Michelle? I mean, as far as lifting weights, have you noticed a shift in your body?
The biggest change that I've noticed in my body was that when I started lifting weights, I start to tone. Remember, I said I had excess skin from such
Mhm.
a great weight loss. So I noticed that I did begin to define my muscles. And then certain chest exercises, it toned and tightened certain things.
Right.
So I didn't get quote unquote bulky, but I did
Right.
have more definition in my arms. I did have more definition in the hip and thigh area. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, it did do that without looking bulky, if that made sense.
No, it makes perfect sense because, like I said, the toneness, the cuts actually
Hmm.
give men and women the definition. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It gives women the definition where it's needed,
Hmm.
men the definition where it's needed. Now, if a man or a woman wants to bulk up, then again, like I mentioned last week, Michelle, you have to do a steroid cycle. So
Not.
lifting.
I guess if you're doing natural, you don't necessarily. I won't say you don't necessarily, but
Well, when I
if
say
you're trying
bulk
to be
up,
unrealistically buff, yeah. But
well,
there are certain weights.
when I say like bulk up, meaning like the Incredible Hulk,
Oh
meaning
yeah,
it would take you years if that was your goal. Let's just say you
yeah,
wanted to be a female bodybuilder. It
yeah,
would take years and years, and I it would take a lot of heavy lifting. But if you just
yeah,
do like what I call a high rep cycle,
yeah,
then you're gonna lean out. You're gonna lean out. You're gonna have firm muscles, but it's not gonna. It'll just get rid of the flab, basically. Would you not agree with that?
pretty much. And I've learned too. If you want to bulk, then you have to increase your calories. But for me, a
Hmm.
person like me that's wanting to tone, then I don't necessarily have to do a big increase in um my diet or my calories. So
Right.
that will keep me from, like picking up weight and getting heavy. That's the best way that I can describe what my trainer told me.
Right. Well, you do have to understand. I know you probably already know this, Michelle. I mean, you have different type of trainers for different type of body types for different type of because even in the weightlifting world, they have different classes. They
Yeah,
got so
they
many
do.
classes, right? So, I think people think about the IFBB heavy super
Yeah,
foot bulk. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? You
yeah,
have like more like natural lightweights. You have more, um, and that's why I say natural because when I
yeah.
when I say natural, you're talking about people who don't do cycle,
Right, right.
people who just eat, lift weights, rest, eat, lift weights, rest. Their shapes are not going to be. They're not going to be the Incredible Hulk, man or woman. You're not going to be the Incredible Hulk. I don't. The today. I mean, yesterday we did a show on DNA, right? The,
Hmm.
what steroids do, they alter your DNA, and um, your body when you lift weights. you still maintain a certain amount, even if, like I said, if you want to force feed and get to that bulk stage, you have to kind of force feed yourself to eat. Would you not agree to that?
Yeah, I guess so. You know, and all the people that I know
Uh-huh.
that I was telling you that I have somebody that's close to me that's in a competition.
Right.
They have to eat health, pretty much clean diet.
Right.
They have to increase their calories and
Calorie
that kind of
intake.
stuff. Yeah,
Hmm.
and lift heavy. And then like you was talking about the different categories. For I found out I didn't realize that if a woman have bigger hips, she have to be in. Even though they're natural, they're different types of
Right.
competitions based on your natural body type.
That's
Even
right.
if you are lifting, so
Well,
it's
that
a
goes
lot
that goes
to
for
that.
men too. That goes for men too, though.
Yeah.
You have like you have your like shorter, stockier, because most of the weightlifting champions are short dudes. They're short, so they have when a guy's short, and I'm assuming that it's the same for women too. When you're taller, it takes longer to buff up your muscles per se,
Yeah.
as opposed to a shorter person who has what they call shorter heads. They have shorter heads, and shorter heads tend to build faster because
Mhm.
it's more compact, as opposed
Yeah.
to a person who is like 6'2", 6'3", who is taller. They have to work out twice as hard because the muscle. I forgot what is the reasoning behind that, Michelle. But like I said, by you being a taller woman, it's not gonna you're not gonna bulk up as fast as like a shorter woman who is maybe like 5'2" or
Yeah.
5'1".
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. It seems like it has something to do with, as they always say, that a lot of times when you're taller or longer, you're leaner.
Hmm. Yeah.
And like you said, I guess it's because the way our bodies are built.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so then the definition, even though we'll lean out, but it's like if you want those like I said, it's just more compact with a shorter person.
Yeah.
The shorter you are, the more compact the muscle looks, the more it'll like if you work out in the same amount of time as a shorter woman, it's going to look like she done worked out more than you have, because
Yeah.
being that you're taller, you like I said, we have what they call like your bicep.
Mhm.
Tall people have long heads. Short people have short heads. When they say short heads are easier to faster, I'm not going to say easier, faster to see results as opposed to a person who is more tall and lanky. So yeah, that's just so I guess when talking about weightlifting, we have to consider that too, as far as
Yeah.
like men and women are concerned. So hold on, let me type this in the chat because we got people watching, but nobody
It's
hit
responding. Yeah.
the like and share.
And while you're
No,
doing that,
leave a
I'm going
comment.
to say you were talking about, like the shorter looking stockier than a tall. That's just like um when as far as weight goes, sometimes a
Uh-huh.
shorter person will can weigh the same as a taller person, but
That's
they're
right.
going to look different sizes based on height and all that stuff, body build and all that. So I guess all that goes hand in hand.
Right, and they're gonna look heavier too, because like I
Yeah.
said, it's
Yeah.
it's it's compact, it's shorter. So, and
Mhm.
that's why, oh gosh, that's why they say when a person is shorter and they gain weight, it tends to look like they're getting gaining weight faster.
Yeah.
Tall people, we gain weight too. First, it'll show in our stomach, and it is like a gradual, because I guess the weight is more spread out.
Yeah, distributed different, I think. That's
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
the
yeah.
difference. I think it's distributed different.
Right. Not to
Yeah.
say that we won't look crazy as tall people, because I mean, me with a gut
Duh.
grandpa, yeah, it's
Yeah.
still gonna look crazy, but
Yeah.
you're gonna notice more. a shorter person filling up more around their
Mhm.
body as opposed to a person who's tall. So we do want to share that with the audience because that's
Yeah.
definitely something to consider. So that's
Yeah.
why I was asking when you said you were scared when you're lifting weights. I was just like, well, uh, you're pretty tall for a woman, and I know it would take a long time for you to uh, be at where you feared you would be at as a woman lifting weights. That, like I said, that would take probably it would take a long time, Michelle. You know, like I said, to be all bulky and hokey. Like I said, that's the first idea we got. But like I said, there are so many classes and so many weight
Yeah.
classes that it's like, um, like it's like a lot of cyclers have a lot of muscle mass.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But when you
like gymnasts as well.
gymnasts as well, gymnasts, baseball players,
Yeah.
cyclists, who else? Who else? Who else? Especially bike riders. When you see them, they look very slim, but when you go up close and see their quads and all that, them things be
Yeah.
huge. But it's proportion though.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that too is because they're lean from a lot of cardio. I'm sure, all that still building muscle, but if you think about they're doing a lot of cardio as well when they're training. So when you
But
lean out, you can see your muscles even more.
well, that's kind of a toss up, Michelle, because when you're cycling, you're pushing that pedal, so that's a push exercise. So I
Yeah.
get the cardio part, but that's
Yeah,
still
but I'm
you're
saying
still burning.
yeah, what I'm saying is they are in combination with each other. So you're burning off the excess fat from your body and while you building as well.
Right, right, right. So Yanga, he just came into the chat. Hey Yanga, we're talking about working out. So you can hit the link, boy. You can hit the link there. We're talking about working out. So, because I know yesterday we had a topic on Vax, and I guess he didn't want to hit the link. So, but no, you can hit the link for this one. Y'all hit the link. Link is right there. We're talking about working out. So, I mean, I think everybody can participate, especially the gang. He works out, so I know he can contribute to this conversation.
Yeah.
But okay, so Michelle, um, so you're saying that, because you lost the excess skin, so you wanted to work out to now, okay, explain to everybody how that works because you have skin and then you have muscle. So do you have to pump up the muscle to fill the skin, or how does that work?
Yeah,
Explain that to
according
us.
to the trainer, he explained pretty much nothing really changes. Is this that you're building your muscle, so that I'm trying to figure out the best way to say. So when you're building muscle, of course, it's going to tighten that excess skin. If that is making sense. So
Yes.
the bigger something is, of course, like for instance, if you put on clothes, if you gain weight, it's going to look tighter. So it's the same thing as when he had was telling me about lifting. It's going,
Hmm.
for instance, my arms are going to tone, so that skin is going to tighten up or look tighter or appear tighter than if I was
Okay.
just, not working out at all or not
How
lifting at all.
well? How long did that process take?
It really didn't say, but when I first started, to be honest, I saw immediate change.
Right.
I think it was like about 3 or 4 months when I started seeing change, like a significant change.
About
Um,
3 or 4 months. Okay. Okay.
yeah, by 6 months it was a bigger change. And
Okay.
shortly after that, I had to take a break from it. So I don't know where I would have been if I would have kept up because it would have been a little over a year and a half now. So I had to
Okay.
take 6 months, 6 to 9 months off, or I did take 6 to 9 months off.
Okay. Okay. 6 to 9 months. Okay. Yankee,
Hmm.
you're in the thing. You can unmute at any time. You can jump in. We talking about working out, just physical fitness, brother. Physical fitness.
Physical fitness. UNS Health. How are you, Sister Rollins?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm well, thank you for asking. Listen, I'm coming on a little late. I may have missed it at the first part of the show, if you did say. But what started you on the fitness?
Good
Like,
question.
really saying, hey, I better take my fitness serious and get control of this thing, or just made you interested in being more involved with your health? What started that?
I've always exercised, but
Hmm.
I end up in. I think I mentioned it last week where I had extremely high blood pressure. It had gotten to the point where I was on 3 blood pressure medications. I
Wow.
had stage 3 kidney disease. I had accidents, so my joints were hurting. I was just not feeling that great. And so
Hmm.
I'm like, I do not want to go into the rest of my life feeling like this. So I wanted a better quality of life.
Well, let me applaud you. I think far too often, we, especially we as Black Africans, uh, here in America, go just the most convenient route. We get on the medications, we just do everything instead of real. So I have to applaud that, your effort, the energy you're putting into it and going into it. So I'm going to ask probably the craziest question. Do you feel better? Was it all worth it? And how did you start? I think a lot of people find it difficult to get that start, to get their booties off the couch or wherever and really begin to start.
Like I said, I've always did some type of working out, even when I was
Hmm.
what they considered morbidly obese. Um, I do feel better. Like I said, the blood pressure, kidney disease, all that was reversed. Um, I talked to my doctor, to be honest, doctor, nutritionist, that's where it
Hmm.
started. And so the more, what really got me to start on, okay, I was not feeling good. So that was one reason to start on my weight loss journey. But as I stated, I had an accident. So I had bad joints. And my
Hmm.
orthopedic
Right.
doctor recommended water aerobics. So that started me wanting to learn how to swim and become more active outside of just doing home workouts. So
Hmm.
once I did that and I noticed that I started feeling better, then I talked to my primary care about wanting to lose weight. And then I was referred to a nutritionist, and I'm still working with my doctors and nutritionists now.
Hmm.
So it
What about
started
your
off
support
pretty much
team?
nutrition based first.
Do you have what about a support team? Do you have, are your families involved with it? Does anyone work out with you? Are they encouraging and supportive of, uh,
I work out mostly alone because my parents are older, so I don't have anybody that can physically work out with me right now. So for the most part, now that I'm going to the gym, post COVID, I work out alone.
mhm.
But I do have a support group. Don't get me wrong. I have plenty of support, but I just do not have anyone that goes to the gym with me. I
Awesome.
hope that answered your question.
It did actually. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have a support group, so I guess that's how you stay motivated. Now, what are some of the first exercises that you got into? Like, what are some of the introductory exercises you would recommend to people? What some of the things that you just found easy and that you could maintain and be consistent in?
The first thing I started doing was walking, just a simple walk. I
Hmm.
went from,
Hmm.
at the time, my ankle was really, really bad. So I started off doing like a half a mile. Then I was able to do 5 miles. And at that same time, I found a dance aerobics workout, and it was fun. So it was easy for me to stick with something that I enjoyed. So I did that, and then I gradually went to different hit workout trainings that I saw on YouTube. YouTube was a lifesaver for me as far as being introduced to different types of working out.
Hmm.
Okay.
The
Okay.
walking and dancing in the beginning before I started the swimming, oh man, that kept me going because it a lot of people don't think about how working out helped them in their mental state.
Talk about it.
So when I didn't feel motivated, and I think I did it at home in the beginning because all I had to do was roll out of bed. You didn't even have to get
Hmm.
dressed or anything. All I had to do was turn on my TV or my computer and just my mindset was if I do something for 5 minutes, then I can quit. I've done something. But it didn't stop at 5 minutes because I start to enjoy it. I start to feel better physically and mentally mid workout. So a lot of times my workouts would go anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour easily.
Hmm.
And
Dang.
so, like I said, mentally, I felt clarity. I felt better. So that
Right.
kept me motivated. Even on those days it helped keep me disciplined, even though those days I wasn't motivated. Hopefully that makes sense.
Well, let me ask you a question, Michelle, because you said mentally, so it was clarity. So, because I know you got a lot of people who, I mean, in the African American community, a lot of people suffer from depression. So you say
Yeah,
that it helped you, it helped that a whole lot
it
as
helps
far as,
depression and anxiety. It
wow.
does. And
Mm.
and if you even if you talk to the medical field,
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking from experience. That is one of the things they tell you. If you can start moving, which is hard when you suffer from depression,
Hmm.
it's terribly hard. But if
Mm.
you can start moving, then those endorphins will start to start regulating, or whatever the term, and you'll feel better. And
Right,
from
right.
experience, you will feel better whether you suffer from depression, anxiety, or anything else. Once you start moving, once most people, I can say, start moving, then the mood change. It definitely changed my mood.
Right.
It definitely changed my
Mm.
mood. So yeah,
Mm.
Man, I hope
And
y'all
that's
people.
what's up.
yeah,
That's what's up. And the side effects are a lot better, than a lot of the stuff. You ever see the commercial for the side effects of some of these things that
Yeah.
they recommend for them, and then they try to say it all quick and slow. They be like, take
yeah, yeah,
Zoloft for your depression. Side effects may include bleeding eyes, teeth fall out of your mouth, tongue swelling up, ear falling
yeah,
off. You're like,
yeah,
what?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know. So listen. So the side effects of exercise are, compared to a lot of these things out there, apples and oranges, man. Apples and oranges.
yeah,
So what I that's good to hear, and I totally concur with the work, with the moving around and stuff like that for anxiety and depression. Uh, Man, that's probably one of the best things going, is that exercise,
yeah,
and it's such a good medicine.
It
It is
is.
such a good medicine. It's sad that our community really uh, hasn't just grasped how important that is.
yeah,
Exercise is,
Well, Yang, I
you
think
know.
they're unaware of the healing effects, and that's why I'm glad that Michelle is here testifying for us today. Because, yeah, I mean, we've known this, but imagine how many people are walking around with depression, not knowing that it's just a walk,
yeah.
maybe a couple of jumping jacks, whatever it takes, like
Hmm.
you said, to get
Hmm.
motivated and moving. And it doesn't have to be nothing hard and strenuous,
No,
you know.
yeah. I think a lot of people now are beginning to get on it now. I'm
Yeah,
starting to
yeah.
see a lot of younger people at the gym, starting to see a
Hmm.
lot of people walking or running. And
Hmm.
when people suffer from depression, even if they know that physical movement will make them feel better, it's not always easy to get up and start moving. Getting out of bed
Yeah,
itself,
yeah,
is
Oh
a
yeah,
yeah.
challenge. So
yeah.
it,
Hmm.
like you talked about, needing that support team, that is really important. Even if they don't work out with
Hmm.
you, if they can encourage you or get you to get up and start moving,
Hmm.
then that's a great thing.
Well, Michelle, and that's what I want for Fitness Fridays. I want people. Oh, you about to say something, Younger? I think you about to say something. I didn't mean to
I
cut
was
you
just
off.
sending out peace to planet, to Free Spirit. Just peace. I'm on my phone, so I can't text in the chat, or I haven't mastered that skill yet. So I just wanted to send a shout out.
Free Spirit. If you're not working, if you're not busy, please join us. It'll make a balance. That way, Michelle don't feel ganged up on right now. You know what I'm saying? you know, just to
Yeah.
even out the number, if you don't mind. Okay, so Michelle, because you were talking about that initial, because like you said, people can't get out of bed. People,
Yeah,
and I think that's probably the hardest part. Because I
that
mean,
is the hardest part.
wow,
It is. It
it,
is. It is.
yeah,
It really is, to get in the move. And one of the worst things that you hear is, "Oh, just get over it, just get up and move." And
Yeah,
people not really understanding the the gravitational pull, that the effects of what's happening in your body. It's like, yeah, if I could do that, I would have done that by now. Well, let me ask this though: is there a diet that you have that goes along with your working out? Are
I
you on
do.
any? Are you vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, or
No,
a
I'm not.
moderate?
I'm sorry. Um, you can finish your question. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that was it. I'm just throwing out. No, that's it. Just being funny, throwing out. Like I call myself. Well, I don't eat beef or pork, but I just call myself a moderate, not vegetarian, vegan, just a moderate in moderation. So I was wondering if you had a diet that. Okay.
I do have a lifestyle. And remember, I told you I was under a nutrition and a doctor. Um, I am prescribed and I'm not vegetarian or vegan. I'm somewhat like you. I have a high protein, low carb, moderate fat diet. And let me make this clear. I am not keto. And the reason I said that because I keep seeing people saying anytime you say low carb, the first thing they're going to say is keto. I'm not a fad person,
Keto,
no,
I'm
keto.
lost. I'm lost.
Keto is like
somebody give me a crash course.
Okay, Yanga, it's like mostly a meat diet, a meat-based diet.
No, not necessarily. You can be vegetarian and be keto, but it's high fat, ultra low carbs, like less than 20 grams of carbs, and
wow,
and then low or moderate protein. So it's kind of the reverse. So you have people that's vegetarian that is also keto.
Yeah, but explain what ketosis is, though, Michelle, and why
ketosis is when your body switch over from burning glucose to burning fat. And so the diet was originally created for can't remember, it was for a brain healing type thing, but they realized that the one of the side effects, so to speak, was weight loss. And so of course with anything else, people jump on the bandwagon and then they like, we're gonna lose weight by doing keto. But keto was originally made for a medical
temporarily
purpose.
Temporarily, right?
Medical purpose,
Can you explain to people, Michelle, since you don't claim keto, how dangerous keto is?
I can't
just from what you know. I mean,
I was about to say I can't speak on that per se. I just know that most of the nutritionists that I've worked with do not recommend keto. One, it was saying that, like you were saying, it's not sustainable. So it's kind of, for some people, a fad diet because a lot of people going into it just to lose weight.
Right.
So it has its pros and cons. So as far as me saying that it's dangerous, I'm not going to touch that because I don't have enough medical knowledge on that particular part of it. But there are a lot of side effects, that comes along with it. I do know that part.
Well, I can say this. I'm just going to say the views and opinion of that of Black Sun does not affect that of Michelle or Yanga. Ketosis is not a natural state for the body to go into. I'm just going to leave it there. It's not a natural state, meaning that, people lose weight, but a prolonged effect of it, like you said, when it starts, because fat is supposed to be stored. So now your body is eating away at the fat, which people, if they want to maintain, I guess, losing that, because when you go off of that, when you start eating normal again, your body's going to go back to the ideal weight. Now, people's ideal weight, they might want to look like Beyonce. Beyonce's a vegan. So it's like, good luck with that. So it's like people have these unrealistic body goals, like these models. A lot of these models, they starve themselves. Will you not agree with that, Michelle?
Yeah, a lot of them, from what I've heard and what I've seen on TV or interviews, whatever, a lot of them, have ultra low diets. A lot of them become anorexic and stuff to that nature as well. So
right. So then, I would think with the ketosis, people take that same mentality and end up damaging their bodies, and that's why I had asked you last time. Ideal weight, meaning you got your desired weight, and then you got your ideal weight. Ideal weight is the weight that you're supposed to have.
Yeah.
When you showed me one side where you were overweight and one side you were real skinny, it was like that, is not your ideal weight. And then you showed me when you gained some of the weight back, that was your ideal weight.
But whether you know it or not, when I was at my smallest, that was in the range of my ideal weight. I'm over my ideal weight now, but it appears, looking at me, that I look better. For most people did not agree with me being that skinny, but I'm only 5'9", so 145 pounds was right in the middle. It's supposed to go as low as to 125.
Okay, you're gonna make me go there. You're gonna make me go there, Michelle. God dang, you're gonna be the first one to
Because
be
and
gabbing.
I've always maintained that weight until. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let
Well,
me ask. Because this is a good. Because I have a question, and I was because you were saying about your ideal weight and you looked small and everything. Are there differences in white Americans and black
oh,
Americans when it comes to this?
you stole
You
my
know,
question, Yanga. I was just about to ask that. Go
did
ahead.
I
Yeah.
take it?
No, no,
You
go ahead.
know,
You got it. You got it. We
yeah.
used to it,
Basically,
brother.
that's the question.
Yeah.
Is there a difference? I mean,
And I'm sure it. We all know there's a difference. But I think
So
it
are they
depends on because even going with my doctors and nutritionists, there were still different sets based on a person, age, body type, all that. So originally, if we went by the normal or the traditional, it would have been a lot smaller than what she worked with me at. But because I was older, African American,
mm,
and I was built
mm.
my structure was different, then that my weight was adjusted accordingly.
Okay,
okay?
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So
So that's
so
why
what's
I emphasize, yeah, it's good to do these things on your own, but find a good doctor that you trust and that you can trust, and a good nutritionist that you trust that will guide you in the right way and not just say, okay, this is what the numbers say in the book, but they know how to
I
adjust
agree.
everything
okay?
to you.
So Michelle,
I
I'm
agree because I don't believe the national state. I agree with what you're saying, Michelle, because I question the national. A lot of times when it comes to health, when it comes to weight, when it comes to diet, with these nutritionists and things,
Yeah.
I question the national standard and its culture, ethnicity. Are those things taken in consideration? I find us being Black African American or Black Americans, a little more voluminous.
Yeah.
right,
Back
right.
in the day, what we used to call it big bone.
Big bone.
She
Yeah.
big bone,
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if the national scale, health scale, takes that in consideration. And you basically explained it when you said what your doctor and nutrition did, that they're taking your age, your race, your
Yeah.
height, and body structure into consideration. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Because like you said, the culture is so different. First of all, as being, and this was a struggle I had when I started losing weight, because we know that African Americans want you to have meat on your bones. That was the thing.
okay,
So when I started losing
okay,
weight,
right.
I was 200 pounds, about to die. I had gotten down to 200 pounds. So we're not gonna talk about where I started from. Um,
Wow.
and they were telling me I was too small.
What there was that? Are you sick, baby? Baby, are you feeling okay?
No.
Get one of these biscuits, baby. Come get some of these biscuits.
Yeah, someone was like, "Well, you look good. You need to stop." And I'm saying, I'm still on 2 blood pressure pills. Yeah, it improved.
Okay.
I went from 3 to 2 blood pressure pills. I'm like, at first it used to bother me so bad, I became self conscious, and then I just simply stopped and said, "This is something between me and my doctor. We have this worked
Mhm.
out." But yeah, our community. Well, I was almost 300 pounds, and they didn't have an issue with it. Oh, you look
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So we do have a tendency to be bigger. We are curvier. I was always like
Hmm.
110, 120 growing up, but I still had hips. So
Right.
I agree
Hmm.
with you. The way we're built is different. But
Right.
I think we still need to realize that there are some certain weights are unhealthy.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think I would agree with that also,
Hmm.
Sister Rollins, that you're right. We're built different, but I think that our culture has embraced a very unhealthy health understanding and body image type. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I think that we have and it's becoming unhealthy. I mean, I'm looking at the babies
Right.
and
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
yeah. So we have to, I think one of the things is incorporating that fitness into our culture, making that like a being cool. What cool is.
Yeah.
So, hmm
Yeah.
why do you think it is that we are so accepting of just poor health? when it comes to us, like, lack of fitness. And like, I know you hardly ever see gyms or anything in our communities. You don't see the Planet Fitnesses, you don't see these in our community. But why do you think it is we don't embrace it's not part of our a healthier lifestyle isn't really part of our code? We're fried foods, we're very we consume like crazy. So why do you think that is?
I think it goes back to what was available.
Hmm.
And I can say when I was growing up, I'm 52 years old. When I was growing up, the diets
Hey,
were
you look
different.
fabulous too, sister.
Thank you. The diets were different. If there was very rarely did we have a chance to go to fast food. More
Mm-hmm.
parents were in the home where they could actually cook home cooked meals. But because our society shift, and true enough, back in the day we did fry some chicken, we did fry, but it was like
Mm-hmm.
a more balanced thing. It wasn't like you did it all the
Absolutely.
time, and
Mhm.
you didn't have all these extra additives to your food. As
Mm-hmm.
I began, my mom continued to stay pretty much at home. She was there when we got home, all that stuff, even when she worked. But as we gotten older, I noticed a lot of women that used to be stay at home moms or whatever. They had that there was a shift. So then convenience came in.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
because growing up,
Mm-hmm.
when you seen somebody that was heavier, that was not the norm. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was
Right.
the norm. But if you look at our diets today, is fast food, or we
Mm-hmm.
having to do processed food because one, a lot of things are expensive. So when you're trying to take care of family, you get what you can afford, and a lot of times that is not the healthiest thing.
Right.
Some
Mm.
places you don't have a grocery store in your area, so you have to, a lot of people have to use what they have, and that's a lot of things are quote unquote our fault, but not our fault. Like you were
Mm-hmm.
mentioning, there are not gyms available in certain areas. I mean, the way the economy is now, for example, you have to decide if you're going to pay your rent or feed your family. So paying for a
Right.
gym membership
Rise out.
is out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
depending on where you live, you may not be able to just go out and just do a walk. So it's a lot of things I think that contributes to that.
Hmm.
Mm.
If you think about, they
That's
always talk about
interesting.
the food deserts. Well, if it's where
Yeah.
are you getting your food? And
Mm-hmm.
then if it is a
Mm-hmm.
store, you have to go so far to go to the store. Okay, what are the prices like? And I have to get something that's going to be sustainable. And those things that are sustainable is full of sugar, salt,
Absolutely.
preservatives.
Mm-hmm.
And those things take a toll on our bodies.
Yeah. And our taste buds too. Don't forget that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
when
Well,
you all
yeah, if your taste buds, yeah, those, and that's a whole nother topic about when I was on my weight loss journey as well.
we'll talk about that. I mean, the taste
What,
buds.
you lost your taste buds?
I didn't lose my taste buds. My quote unquote cravings, if that's what you want to call it, or my
Mm-hmm.
desires for certain foods changed. Okay.
Wow.
So at one point
I
I
can
was
believe
saying
that. I
last
know that
week,
to be.
I used to, out of convenience, I would do a lot of processed foods. Well, when I stopped doing that and started doing more, and I could do that, I started doing more whole foods again and more less processed foods because that was supposed to be out. And so I noticed that when I would go somewhere and eat, everything tastes like too much salt, or
Hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
was too sweet. I would go, and a lot of people put
Yeah. Yeah.
sugar in their greens or pinch of sugar in their
Mm-hmm.
spaghetti. Well, I could not have sugar.
Right.
And so when I would taste it, one, it made me feel terrible. Two,
Mm-hmm.
it was just, it threw the taste of the food out off. It's like I can't, it doesn't taste natural to me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it once you get used to something, because before it was no big deal. I didn't realize this stuff had like 1,000 and something milligrams of sodium.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
once I started trying to incorporate a healthier lifestyle, I started to notice everything as far as my taste buds go.
And one thing I noticed, Michelle, because you mentioned sugar in the spaghetti, I'm like, yo, that's real big in the South. Sugar in the spaghetti.
Yeah.
And I remember when I went to Arkansas, I remember my friend's dad. he would pour salt on like peaches and watermelons,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what the
Mhm.
heck? I guess it's so, but I'm just like,
Mhm.
your taste buds have to be pretty damaged to do that type of stuff. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, that's the thing. I noticed that too. Because before I never heard people putting salt on watermelon.
yeah,
But then all of a sudden I
Mhm.
hear people's like, if you put salt on sweet stuff, it brings out the sweetness. I'm like, okay. But you're taking in a lot more sodium than necessary, but
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. You had to forgive my indulgence. I would throw salt on a little something.
Oh
It's
wow.
crazy. It is, yeah. It's. I still allow myself little indulgences. But you
Yeah.
said something that I thought was, right on time when we were talking about the taste buds, and
Mhm.
you find that when you at one point. Well, let's go all the way back when we're talking about foods. You're
Mhm.
absolutely right. When Mama, Big Mama, or whomever fried those fried foods, we had sides, we had things that kind of balance it out. These
Yeah.
fast foods don't offer you that. You go get a box of fried chicken at the fast food, you just get more. Your sides are just more trash to
Yeah.
go along with it.
Yeah.
Also, it was a time we ate because we were hungry.
Yeah.
Now I find people saying, "What do you have a taste for?" Not
Yeah.
are you hungry? What you got a taste for? So
Yeah.
when you talk about those taste buds, man, absolutely. I'm one to believe that those preservatives can be addictive.
Absolutely, it is.
People eat sometimes just for the taste of it.
Yeah. And and
Hmm.
and I like what you said about what do you have a taste for, because a lot of times people, and I was guilty of it, would eat just because, one, you wanted something to do. Two,
Wow.
a lot of people are struggling mentally, and a lot of overeating is connected to the mental state. So you have
Hmm.
Ooh,
people
ooh.
binge eating or different things. A lot of times I would eat because I was bored
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I would not always, as you stated, a lot of times we don't eat just for nutrition or to
Hmm.
or because we're hungry. We eat out of other reasons. I mean, a lot of people probably don't even think. When I start tracking and paying more attention to my eating habits, I realize sometimes at 2 o'clock in the morning, I may wake up and just go to the refrigerator. Was I hungry? No. It was because I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning and couldn't sleep. So the next best thing to do was to eat.
Mm.
Wow. Hmm.
Hmm.
So and I didn't understand any of this until I, like I said, was under my doctor's care, all this, all that stuff. Then I realized that a lot of people eat based because of mental state. A lot of us have no idea that we're in mental crisis and don't even know it.
Right.
So we're
Wow.
eating
Yeah.
to satisfy hurt and pain, and I was one of those that was guilty of emotional eating, is the term they use.
Now,
So you
does
felt
eating release
I'm sorry.
endorphins or something? Now, does eating
Yeah,
release some? Okay.
yeah. That's according to what I was told. Yes, it's a chemical thing. That's why I like what you when you said a lot of these preservatives and all these are addictive, because it releases chemicals in your brain to give you that feel good
Wow.
feeling.
Hmm.
That sugar,
Mm.
that salt, that
Yeah.
whatever, it gives
Hmm.
you that feel good feeling. So that's why you have, most of us are, without knowing it, are food addicts. So
Right.
Mm.
you're eating to get that high from the sugar or the
Hmm.
whatever you're eating. And they're purposely doing this when you going and buying these uh, processed foods. It's to get for us to become addicted, so that we can continue to buy these things, so they can continue to profit
Wow.
off us. So that's why whole food stuff is so expensive and hard to get.
Hmm. Now
Yeah,
you said food addict. That's heavy. Food.
yeah,
What are
that's the
some of the
term that
signs of food addiction?
they.
What would be some of those? If how would I know if I'm at risk of being a food addict? What are some of the signs people can look out for?
Now I don't know all the what classify a person as a food addict. I can speak from my experience in my conversation with my people or whatever. Is one, a lot of times, like I said, is emotional things. So you're eating just to eat. A lot of times you
Hmm.
gravitate towards high sugar foods. These foods that when you feel down, you want to go to and eat and enjoy.
Hmm.
Or when it's just anything. The same way a person would do if they're addicted to cigarettes or caffeine or whatever. Whenever you have that, it makes you feel better.
Yeah, but cigarettes and caffeine, I know people like if they don't have these things, not only do they go through a chemical change, they go through like a psychological change. Like they or some of the most irritant is now will foods addicts go through that if they don't have a cupcake or something? Is that the
Have you ever, and I don't know if you have cravings or not, have you ever have a craving and you get grumpy if you couldn't go get it, or you would go get in your car and drive that extra 5 miles to get that cupcake or that whatever? It's that same thing.
I am guilty. Yeah. I
Yeah,
have a
so it's the
particular type
same.
of potato chip. And when I get that craving, I will go and it's only at a certain gas station. So I'll
Mhm.
bypass grocery stores and everything to go to a rinky dink gas station to get these crazy chips.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I get it.
yeah. It's
I
it's
guess I am. I guess if I ask people around me, I guess they probably would say, "Hey, man, you are irritable. What's that sneaker commercial? You're hangry." They
yeah,
have
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
man. I didn't know there was so much truth to that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why the commercial, when you first see it, it doesn't make sense. But if you really sit there and think about it, analyze it, yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's how people become if they can't have that chocolate. Not only because they're hungry, because you can eat real food and satisfy
Mm-hmm.
the hunger, but you have that candy bar and you become
Mm.
a human again, so to speak, or whatever. And that's because
Right.
that sugar kicks in that brain, and then
Hmm.
so yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. I someone had turned me on to this Netflix video, and this was a while back. I so wish I could find it. And it was talking about the sugar industry and how really addictive sugar is. And in fact, a part that jumped out at me was that they had said if it was another country
Hmm.
introducing sugar or candy the way we do to our children, we would have declared war and called it chemical warfare.
Wow.
That's how serious sugar addiction and things are. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's a $1 billion industry.
it is. It
It's a
is.
bit, yeah,
And if you think
it's a
about
big.
it, a lot of things that's added to our foods here in the US, they're
Hmm.
banned in other countries. I mean,
Really, I didn't know that.
a lot of the dyes. I wish I didn't know we was gonna get to this part, but I wish I had a list. Um, Different colored dyes. Like for instance, well, I don't because I don't know how this show is monetized or whatever. I don't want to call a brand, but in some countries, the particular snack is here is bright orange or whatever. Over there, because they can't use that certain dye, it's just
Uh
a
huh.
normal like pale cheese color, I guess you can call it,
Yeah,
or white.
same
So
snack. Is yeah.
yeah. So yeah. So
Wow.
yeah. It's so many things, so many chemicals that we have in our food. Some of the things I would read and I didn't realize until I was in this particular group some years ago, and
Hmm.
the instructor he made us look up certain things in our foods. Like
Hmm.
um I can't remember what it was. It was a dye, I think it was. And once you realize where it come from, it may not have been a dye. It was something that said was in there for preservative reasons or something. And it
Hmm.
was literally a deadly chemical. And I was like, wow, I never. So a lot of times we're eating food, we have no idea what we're eating.
Right, right. We would just quickly throw something in our mouth and trust the FDA. I had a friend of mine used to always be hollering. It's funny you say about dyes. Used to always be hollering about red dye 40, red dye 40. That's the only one I can remember because everything. Man, make sure it doesn't have red dye 40.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's really it's funny to have this conversation because we're uncovering or discovering
Hmm.
how much health is really a social, political, economic issue.
It really is. It really is. And I think,
Damn.
yeah, it's terrible. It really is. If you sit
Hmm.
down and think about it, and I think when we have conversations like this, is when it really kicks in what's really happening to us. What
Right.
as
It's
far as
like,
our
whoa.
bodies and all the things. Think about it. If I keep you sick, if I'm in the medical field,
Hmm.
I'm creating pharmaceuticals. If I keep you sick, hey, I can make
Hey,
money. Why would I give you whole foods or herbs knowing
A-
that it will work for you? I wouldn't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Biggest
So yeah.
racket in where I think Son had a debate on that one time. Like the health
yeah.
industry is the biggest, that's the biggest racket in the world. And you have to go to, and so they're definitely not going to give you anything to cure you.
Right.
You know,
Right.
they're going to give you enough to alleviate some of the symptoms, get you moving better, but they have to make sure that they have a customer, not a patient, a customer. You
Yeah.
have to continue to come back there, so it works hand in hand. And then that gives fast food and all these other things that aren't good for us, that gives them carte blanche to free nilly willy to do what they want to do because it works hand in hand. The health industry is not saying, hey, shut that down. You would think that the state and health industry would say, hey, look, obesity is I remember they were saying at one time, obesity is an epidemic. It's a problem. This is a
Yeah.
problem. They just tell us what the problem is in the in worldwide amongst humanity, specifically our community, which is
Mhm.
crazy, and talk about how it's a crisis and everything, but won't enact laws
Mhm.
to stop the crisis or begin to address some of those things you were talking about, Sister Rollins,
Yeah.
of food deserts in our community. You know what I'm saying? Bringing affordable, healthy foods. Like you said, you go to Whole Foods, man, you be like, man.
Yeah.
So it's like you said, these conversations like this are staggering because it's something that we really don't think about day to day. We see how intricate it is in our life, our psychological, our emotional, our not just our physical. Damn, it's
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah. And
Right.
everything goes in hand to hand. Now that obesity
Hmm.
is a big thing, now they're getting more money with
Yep.
marketing stuff to lose weight. You
Yep.
got
That's a
Right.
once
whole
people
industry.
See?
Yep.
realized keto was
That's a
the
whole industry.
once keto was the thing. For instance, we were talking about keto. At first, people had
Hmm.
to do their own thing. Now, because I'm low carb, I have to. I used to have to make my own bread because I couldn't just have regular bread. So
Hmm.
when I get lazy, now I can go to the store and find something that's keto, whatever. So they start
Wow.
marketing these things, or
Yeah.
when more people start to become vegan and vegetarian. When I first, and Black Son, you can attest to this. When I first started being vegan and vegetarian here in the South, me trying
Yeah.
to
That's
find
hard.
anything
Man.
was impossible. And when they did have a few things, it was soy based, and because I was allergic to
Hmm.
soy, I had to make everything. Now I can
Right.
walk in
Mm.
Walmart and get anything I want to that's vegan,
Hmm.
vegetarian, whatever is available because they realize, oh, I can make money off of this. This the
Absolutely.
Yeah.
bandwagon people are on now. Let me make money off of this.
Hmm.
And
It's a market
Michelle,
for it.
yeah, it is. It is. And I know you had talked before and said you were on a vegan diet, then you veered off into the vegan junk food, and that just wrecked everything for you, correct?
Yeah, I start buying processed foods. Yeah.
Right, right.
And that's a lot of things because I remember a family member, we were having a conversation about vegans and vegetarians,
Hmm.
and her thing was, well, I thought when a person become vegan they will become healthier, and that we was talking about weight and losing weight. And I had to tell her, I said, well, if you're eating a bunch of processed food, a bunch of boxed macaroni and cheese or
Hmm.
whatever, of course you're not going to be healthy. Just because you say vegan does not mean healthy because they have so many processed foods with that now that's
Right.
easily available. I can go wherever and get this stuff now. So the processed stuff is what's getting the people.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. And you know,
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Well, Michelle Yanga, man,
Wow.
we've done an hour, man. This
yeah,
was
Yeah.
fire, fire.
Man.
great
I
Yeah.
had to
conversation.
run and get my notepad and pen. So I have a few things. I have a few assignments. I have to look up this keto and really dig deep into just this fitness in our community and myself. Probably, check out a few. Maybe look at my diet a little more stringently,
Yeah,
Well,
so
Yanga,
I could be tightened up a little bit.
this ain't the
Uh,
ending. We're gonna do this every Friday. This is free.
oh yeah, I
Free
listen.
Friday.
I
So
hope we
yeah,
get to
don't
talk
think
to
yeah.
Sister Michelle again. So that's why I said I'm gonna have my pen and pad. When you first come up, I was like, what the hell am I going to talk about? How could this? I didn't know it was going to be this interesting. really. So thank you, sister, for coming on and answering my questions. Man, great show. Good show, son.
Hey, good show, Yanga. Good show, Michelle. Hey,
Indeed.
this is like like Michelle was
And
saying
chat, we
earlier.
appreciate everybody. Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely appreciate the chat family, Twin, and everybody out there,
Absolutely.
man.
Free
Holland,
Spirit, Twin, yeah.
yeah, Free
Zandy,
Spirit,
yeah,
and
everybody.
yeah. So
Um,
yeah.
and one thing, Michelle, I didn't realize you were going to go in a direction saying that, yeah, it helps the mental. So I mean, I thank you for that, Michelle, because I mean, people, um, we have a lot of people suffering from a lot of depression. So yeah,
Mhm.
I definitely want to thank you for that answer, and hopefully this video will help somebody going through that. Because I'm not, as you know, you and Yanga know, I'm not down with the psychotropes. I mean, I know sometimes people need them, but let's try alternatives first. Let's try healthy eating. Let's try some exercise first.
Yeah.
And see
Mhm.
if we can kind of reduce, because like Yang was saying, a lot of them psychotropes got a lot of side effects. A lot of them.
Yeah.
They damage your
Yeah.
Or
kidney. Yeah.
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 And incorporate. Like my son has diabetes. So I'm not
Mm.
to the extreme. He has the one where he doesn't. I forget which type, man. I hate that I forget which type. I don't want to mention, but his pancreas doesn't produce. It isn't the diet one from just diet. It's also
Right.
his pancreas doesn't produce the insulin, right? So we still do what you have to do. Like I take everything in moderation. What the doctors say, I take that in moderation and incorporate a healthy diet. His mom is great about that, incorporating a healthy diet with the medicines and things that he's been prescribed. You see what comes from that, and just being vigilant and observe it and take it. And I think the biggest message that came out is for me tonight was responsibility, being responsible for yourself.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest thing. And there again, Sister Michelle, I thank you so much for sharing that with us, because a lot of times we have to hear that and just have people to encourage and inspire us to get up off our booties and really get active, and to hear your story from point A to point B, and look at you now to know you came from 200 plus to
Right.
where you are now, and smiling, and it seems as if you feel good, is a real testament to health in our Black community. So I can't applaud you enough for that. So thanks
Absolutely.
for being
Right.
on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And living your life, Michelle, because a lot of people are not living
Oh
their
yeah.
lives because of being brought down by their weight. And it's just, I mean,
Yeah.
so you gave your testimony. And like I said, I hope more people are watching and become inspired, because it's, it's really a pandemic in our country. So, thank you.
Thanks
Mhm.
for having me.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna be back next week. We gonna
Absolutely.
yeah, we're gonna be back next week. So
Okay.
Michelle, get another topic lined up. If you got another sister guest you want to bring on, bring them. So me and Yang are gonna be here every Friday. So yeah, just know
Okay.
we here, and yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking about. I'm gonna see if I can bring on a couple of trainers.
Okay.
Um, I have a
Awesome.
couple in mind. I'm going to see what their schedules are and see, how that'll work out. But I think
Mhm.
that'll be an interesting topic since we were supposed to be focusing on fitness. I think they can shed a lot more light on the fitness part than I can.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
thanks for sharing
Excellent.
for the mental part, because the mental is needed also. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the
And just
time,
yeah,
yeah, sometimes we just need
and
to.
going with the ebb and flow.
Mhm.
That sometimes the show gets unpredictable like that.
Yeah.
And, we get on here, especially if we got a good show and we have all these questions. So we may veer a little bit. It was health related. I'll say that. We stayed on health topics, but it was just so interesting. Your story was so interesting that I wanted to get some backstory. Like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Because it was personable. I think people can relate. People can really relate. Like, damn, okay. So listen, don't get me to talking. We'll start a whole nother show, son.
Well, yeah, yeah, I got shows lined up. So
Hey
uh,
man.
shout out to Zanzi. We me and y'all come. Me and Zanzi, we're gonna have a little debate discussion on the Supreme Court decision. So
Oh, wow.
y'all be
Oh, that's gonna be
That's a good one. That's
Zanzi,
a
I know
good
he's
one.
in the
that's gonna
chat.
be a good
Yeah.
show.
Oh,
When
yeah.
when is that? Send the when do you guys have that?
Yeah, we already have a schedule for Sunday.
Oh,
Yeah, it should be. It should be up
okay.
on the. YouTube is funny with these notifications, so that's why I have
Yeah.
to kind of
Yeah.
remind people. Yeah, Sunday at 2. I missed it last time. That was my fault, Zanzi. I apologize for that. But yeah, Zanzi gonna bring it, man. I hope he don't whoop me too bad, man. Because yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That's gonna be interesting.
yeah, it's gonna be
That
good.
is gonna be a good
So
one.
y'all
That's
know
gonna be good.
I'm taking the position of I'm taking the position of the Supreme Court and their decision. He's
Wow.
being the negative. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm taking the positive on it. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm the bad guy in this one, y'all. So,
Most of the time, more often than not, I'm rooting for you, but I'm rooting for Zanzi to go on and just bring it to. I mean, listen,
Zanzi's
it's gonna
going to
be
bring it.
interesting.
Yeah, y'all
He's
going to
gonna
see the
bring it.
premiere.
It's
Y'all
gonna be
gonna see the
interesting to say
premiere
the
of
least.
Zanzi.
We
Yeah,
are going.
y'all going to see
Oh,
how
we're
nice
gonna be
Zanzi
there.
is. You're going to see how nice.
Yeah, we definitely in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I ain't going to let them beat me up too bad. I'm going to be blocking now.
Well, man, I hope so.
Oh, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm not going to just lay down, Yanga. Come on now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, Zanzi's nice. He's very nice. So yeah,
Yeah.
y'all gonna see a nice. Y'all gonna see a nice show. Let me just leave it at that. Y'all gonna see a nice show. All right.
Okay.
So yeah, be there for that Sunday.
Mhm.
And like I said, Michelle, if you want to come back, and I know you ain't gonna miss this, Yanga. I'm gonna try to have Dr. Uma on. She's going to basically show us how to look for the proper marijuana creams because you got a lot of imitation out there. Basically, she's saying if it ain't got the THC, then it ain't the real thing. So I'm gonna let her. She's gonna do her thing. She's in Germany right now, but yeah, she's one of the world leading advocates for medical marijuana. So we're gonna have her hopefully Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, yep.
Yeah.
It's gonna be dope.
Yep. And then Yanga, do you have a title lined up for Monday or Tuesday? Because that's our day.
Man, I may. I tell you what, we'll know something next show. Come on, I'm working on a few guests, getting a few people on, man. Just really getting crunk. I'm excited about just really getting started up. Shows have been great. If we keep bringing guests as a caliber as Sister Rollins and stuff like that, man, I really only see us getting better, super informative, and everything like that, man. So, listen, what can I say? I'm glad that we're back. I'm glad that we're bringing this type of content back to our people, man. So I'm all smiles. You can't see it because my camera's off, but I'm all smiles.
I can hear it though. I can hear it, Yanga.
Okay, right on.
All right. So y'all, that's the lineup. So Sunday, possibly be Monday or Tuesday. Me and Yang gonna come back. Then we got hopefully, Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Uma. And y'all know Thursday, I believe, with Fela. That's Therapy Thursdays. Hopefully, I don't know if Nature Made, because like I said, her schedule, we might have to get her on another schedule. We'll work that out. And then, of course, Fitness Fridays with Michelle Rollins. So yeah, man, y'all stay subscribed, hit the like, hit the share, and leave a comment. Leave something they say health and wellness, fitness, vegan. I don't know, whatever you want to put, just leave that in the comment. It helps the algorithms. And with that, we out. Peace.
We out. Peace.
Peace, y'all. Bye, y'all.
Good night.